Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl ShadeaRenee. Happy 2026. This is my first video of 2026 and I am super excited. If you are not following me on my other social media platform, I'm only using TikTok at the moment, so it would be here on YouTube or it would be TikTok at ShadeaRenee. Now let's get directly into the video. Today we're talking about self-concept. Self-concept is basically the way you see yourself, the way you feel about yourself, and as a mirror, as a reflection, other people treat you that way. Now, some people are born with amazing self-concept, but not because you weren't born with it, that doesn't mean that you are not allowed to practice it until you fully become it and you start walking in it and it becomes your everyday reality and you identify as the woman who deserves it all, who gets it all, who wins it all, the woman of God, the woman of grace, the woman of wealth. Whatever you identify as, you will become that for sure. So the first thing we're going to talk about concerning self-concept is, how does one person start it? How can I, who know absolutely nothing about self-concept, get into it? How do I start it? And its answer is super simple, yet super cliche. And it just goes like this. You just decide. You just make a decision. You just make a decision that you are the girl, you are the woman that gets everything that she wants. And it's simple as that. The moment you decide, reality bends for you, life bends for you, and your world starts to reflect your belief. Now, let's not remove the fact that it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some time, but it's 100% possible. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you've known I've always identified as the nice girl, the soft girl, the kind girl, the doormat, the overpleaser, the overextender, the overgiver, the over everything in every scenario I've ever been placed in my life. And sometimes the way I leave my relationships is because I get frustrated, or I just simply walk away because I overextended myself. Now, although I have no regrets for any relationship I've walked out of, I know that if I had identified as the woman with the good self-concept, the amazing self-concept, the worthy self-concept, the chosen self-concept, life would have ended differently in those relationships, or some of those relationships would have still been going on even up until this day. But that's fine. We live and we learn, and guess what? It gets better anyways. Now, how did I get into self-concept? I got into self-concept from a heartbreak. I was in a situation that broke my heart, and it really awoken me to the fact that I deserve more. And you get to the point where you stop blaming other people and you start to realize that everyone can't just come in your life and treat you bad. You must be a reflection of that. There must be something within you that is saying to them, pick me, choose me. I'm okay to be treated badly. So I got to that realization, and from there I made a decision that I deserved more. Now, upon my journey to learning self-concept and mastering techniques concerning self-concept, it took some work, and it definitely took some time, and it definitely took some stopping and starting and stopping and starting again. But I have mastered the embodiment of the girl who gets what she wants. My dominant state is a woman who identifies as the woman who gets what she wants. And it's simple as that because I made a decision. Now that's where the deciding comes in. Now, number 2, this is gonna be the part where you're gonna do the work. How I started was I made sure that I consume content around the fact that I am the woman that gets chosen. I made sure I continue to consume content around the fact that I'm the woman who's well-deserving, who's well-worthy. I am the woman who is gonna get what she wants. I am the woman where even if it's no for an answer, it will not affect my world and it will not affect my choices. And because of that, here I am today. Here I am living the life that I've always wanted to live internally. Truth is, I've always lived an externally good life. I'm always driving what I want. I'm always living where I want. I manifest easily, but it's not just about the manifestation. It's about keeping the manifestation when it arrives, and it's about living day to day within that manifestation as you go forth. So I want to just talk about the fact that things will happen and things will come and will kind of steer you off of the work and kind of distract you from listening to the content that concerns your manifestations, or even listening or being in groups or being around people who will distract you from the path that you're on. But no matter what, you must persist and you must stay consistent. In this life, in this world of self-concept, persistence and consistency is the name of the game. Repetition is the name of the game. Moving forward is the name of the game. Now, one of the techniques I use concerning consuming content is I go to YouTube. First thing I do is I clear my entire algorithm. I go to YouTube and I delete my entire history. I have a lot of content that I was consuming before that identify with my old reality. But because I'm consuming content around my new self-concept, I cut off all of those old beliefs and those old videos and those old contents. And I now get to the point where I'm consuming content that surrounds what and who I want to become. And I delete all my YouTube history. I deleted all of my TikTok history. And the algorithm was now only surrounding the things I wanted to see, the person I wanted to become, and the way I wanted to feel on a daily basis. So every time I would swipe up or I would scroll, I would only see things that are going to be beneficial to the journey that I am on. Now, if you are identifying as a Christian, if you're identifying as a wife, if you're identifying as a mom, whatever area of your life that you want to get better in, consume those contents. Make sure that those are the contents that you are using to build you up. Because remember, consistency, persistency, and repetition is the name of the game when it comes to building strong self-concept. Now, the next thing I did from there was I started to speak to myself better. It's one thing when you're consuming content that is going within, that is fine. But it's another thing when you are telling yourself that you are who you say you are. You are the I am that I am. And what do I mean when you talk to yourself better? You start affirming to yourself better. You start to do the work and tell yourself, I am better. I am the woman that gets what she wants. I am loved. I am liked. I am chosen. I am amazing. I am abundant. I am deserving. I decide what I want for myself. I make good decisions. I make beneficial decisions. I am this. I am that. Positive, positive, positive. You consume all the content that you have been consuming, the decision you have made to be better. You now start to speak to yourself better. When you start to speak to yourself better, what happens? I'm glad you asked. When you start to speak to yourself better, you start to experience different things in your world. Everyone is in a different world. I live in my world, you live in your world. And even though we collide with each other and we share each other's world, no matter what, you always go back to your world where it's just you and yourself. So you're going to talk to yourself better. And as a result of that, your world will start to reflect everything you have said. Like, for example, I identify as a woman who gets and keeps what she wants. I have no problem now keeping the things that I have received. I have no problem manifesting a good life. I have no problem in my prayer life. I have no problem in my relationships. I have no problem in environmental situations, because I identify as a woman who always get what she wants, who always makes it happen, and who always receives favor, mercy, and grace. To the fact where even if things look bad or things are happening, to me on my side, it's not bad. It's not a stressful situation. It's a situation that was put in place to work out for me, even if to the other person in their world, it would look like a negative situation. So those are the 3 tips I'm going to share for you in my first video. Thank you so much for listening. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you'll be updated when I make a new video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following me on TikTok in advance. And remember, you are deserving. You are amazing. You are everything that you want to be in the most positive and perfect way possible. And always, God loves you like crazy, 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 crazy. It's your girl, ShadeaRenee. Talk to you later. Mwah.